A lot of our older generations probably remember a time when there were abundant quail populations. They have some memories of possibly hunting birds with their parents or grandparents, whereas today a lot of our younger generation probably don't even know what a quail is, and some of them probably have never even heard a quail whistle in the spring. In the last 50 years, researchers have documented quail populations have declined anywhere from 60 to 80% on average. However, in some areas, we also see as much as potentially 95% or more population decline. In the late 1960s, you could go out to an average property and probably hear 2 to 3 birds calling, compared to today where you could go out on maybe 5 to 10 properties before you could even hear one bird calling. There have been many ideas why quail populations have declined, from increasing predator populations to the introduction of fire ants. And although these factors do have effects on quail populations, habitat loss and changes in land use are the primary reasons of the decline. Land use has changed drastically in Mississippi during the last 50 years, especially agriculture and forestry practices. In the early days of agriculture, we had smaller farms, you had a lot more diverse crops, and you had some less productive areas that were just in grassy cover that were suitable quail habitat. Today we have much larger fields. Our modern technologies have allowed us to increase the size of agriculture, and so now we have a lot larger farmland fields and a lot less cover and idle areas that would have been quail habitat. For example, since the 1940s, there's been an 86% decline in number of farms in Mississippi, and the farms we still have today are 4 times larger. Many of these farm fields and other open areas were either planted back into trees or allowed to grow back up into forest cover. Also, prior to the mid-1900s, burning was utilized a lot more frequently to manage forests and other lands. Fire was a very important part of maintaining quail habitat. Since that time, there have been a lot more efforts to suppress fire, and today there's a lot less fire on the landscape. Forest management practices have also changed. Today in Mississippi, there's the trend that less timber is being cut and less fire is being used. So what is quail habitat? Typically, quail habitat is going to be comprised of a lot of grasses, broadleaf plants that we often might call wildflowers. Some folks might refer to them as weeds. These provide important seed and insect resources and cover to quail. So there's all the different important components that make up quail habitat, but then the arrangement of all those different cover types are also very important. And so if we have nesting cover in one part, we also want brood rearing cover very close to that nesting cover as well. And the same thing for escape or thicket type cover. We want that really kind of strategically placed around the property so those birds are never too far away from a thicket patch of shrubby cover there that they can duck into to escape predators or just hang out and sort of escape the heat of the day. Ways to promote quail habitat management are through frequent disturbance activities such as prescribed fire, disking, even some mechanical cutting, and some herbicide applications. Have you seen or heard quail on your property? If not, think about the habitat components we've discussed. Think about habitat components on your property that might be limiting, and think about things you can do to improve it.
For more wildlife management guidance, go to our webpage at mdwfp.com/privatelands and request a free site visit with one of our biologists.